everybody, this is Matt Does Fitness, and I am very good friends with 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why. Okay, that stunning intro was just to showcase my new trainers, which I think you'll agree, pretty incredible. You'll see here I'm wearing my crappy old ones. I've had them for a good, possibly 2 years, and it's got to the point where they have so many holes in, I was having to wear black socks because otherwise it's just glaringly obvious how much of a hobo I am. Anyway, let's get on topic. This is my bench highlights from the first week of cycle 2 of my own program, which again I haven't named yet, and this is bench press session 1. It was 5 sets of 3 at 130 kilos, which is 287 pounds, I believe. Now, this is the session I did in the lead up to my 150 kilos, 331 pound PR before I went on holiday. So the fact that I've hit it again pretty much straight away after coming back is obviously very, very pleasing. In fact, that's an understatement. I would go as far as to say it is absolutely delightful. I didn't expect to be this strong, this quick, this soon after getting back. So obviously I feel like I've saved a lot of time there, which is really, really good. This is the 4th of my 5 sets. I'm still, this week, I have been kind of playing around with my position. I've got my arch pretty set now. I've got a nice little kind of technique that I've got down there and it feels fairly comfortable. I feel really strong. What I've also done is I've brought my hands in closer. It's almost like, I mean, this is probably like a year back, this is what I would have considered a close grip bench, but in terms of my little kind of powerlifting setup, this definitely feels strongest. And when using it in this session and the other 2 sessions you'll see in a minute, it just felt really, really strong. I felt a lot more controlled. I feel much, much better bringing the bar down. I feel like the pause is more solid. It just feels like a much more kind of consistent and reliable technique to use, which obviously is very pleasing. You see there a little bit of a celebration. That was a bit of a benchmark. Obviously, to hit that, like I said, within a week of coming back is awesome. Right, moving on to my accessory work. What I've done this week and in this video, I kind of split it up. So in the first session here, I focused on predominantly chest-based stuff. In the second session, I did mainly shoulder stuff. And in the third and final session, I did mainly tricep stuff. Obviously, all push-based accessory work. So here, I'm doing some dumbbell chest press. I did 3 sets of 12 down to about 10 of these, trying to come out reasonably wide to get a bit of a stretch reflex and a nice big range, because obviously when I'm doing my bench, due to the laws of physics, I can't drop my elbows too low because the bar hits my chest, so it's nice to kind of mix it up a bit. And then here I am doing some cable flies, or kind of press / flies. The important thing here is obviously trying to emphasize keeping your chest up, keeping your scapula retracted, your shoulders back, and trying to cross your elbows over. I used to spend a large portion of my young years doing chest work and not really focusing on moving my, pushing from my upper arms. As soon as you get that in your head, you kind of engage your chest much, much better, and it just works much more efficiently. Anyway, second session, here we go. 3 sets of 5 at 122.5 kilos, 270 pounds, I think that's it. Possibly 75 pounds, I don't know, around that region. Anyway, again, this is, the session, this is actually heavier than I did before I went away. So I thought, on the back of last week's kind of intro few days, I thought I would kind of up it. I put another, about 5 or 6 pounds on what I did the week before I went away, or the leading up to going away, and I completed all 3 sets, which is obviously pretty incredible. This means that within a week of coming back, I feel like now my bench press is stronger than it was before I went away. Didn't expect that. Don't want to keep going on about it, but yeah, it's so good because it just means that I can kind of kick on and get to where I wanted to be a lot quicker than I expected. I could possibly worth a little bit more than my 1 rep max, more than my PR at the moment, but obviously I'm going to try. I always say this, I never kind of carry it through, but I'm planning to wait until the end of this 6-week cycle before I retest my maxes. But if I continue improving at the rate I currently am, then I reckon I've got a decent PR to put out. I've said it a few times now, my target, my bench press target for the year is about 160 kilos, which is about 350 pounds. If I get that this year, I'll be delighted, and I think it's definitely realistic for me to aim to get that. You see, they're pretty satisfied with that session. That is a PR for 3 sets of 5, and I will take that all day long. Then moving on, as I said, my accessory work here in the second session was more shoulder orientated. So I've got here some just like machine shoulder press. Same machine. It's a very generous description. That is kind of like buying a tub of ice cream and calling it an ice cream machine. This is just a kind of metal construction, but to be fair, it's actually pretty efficient. You can do a few things on it. Did 3 sets of a little bit lower in terms of rep range. I was worked in kind of the 8 rep range there, because obviously I'm not doing overhead press now and I wanted to do some heavier stuff. And then here, just some lateral dumbbell raises, 3 sets of 12-ish of those. Then the last but certainly not least session, you see it there, 5 sets of 3 at 132.5 kilos, which is 292 pounds. Now, as with the last session, this was another PR attempt, and spoiler alert, I got it. All 5 sets of 3. I am well pleased with that. Again, before I went away, leading up to my PR for my bench, I did this session for 130 kilos, which is like, what, 186 pounds or so. And here I've done it for 286 pounds. Here I've done it for 292 pounds, 132.5 kilos. So again, that is a PR for 5 sets of 3. And that obviously bodes well, and hopefully long may that improvement continue. Word of note here, I used, because in my last session I noticed that where I brought my hands in closer, my grip was kind of slipping. I got pretty sweaty hands, and so obviously as I get tired, and particularly when you do more than, let's say, 2 or 3 reps, my hands were kind of starting to slide wider, which obviously makes the reps harder. So put chalk on the bar. I know it isn't anything new, I've seen a lot of guys do it, but I've never done it myself. Also put chalk on the bench, which meant that my shoulders weren't slipping. And all in all, I just felt a lot more solid. You see my back there, it's all over me. It's pretty messy. I've got some pretty kind of annoyed looks from the gym staff because there was chalk everywhere. It looked like I'd kind of set off a smoke machine, but it was much better. I felt really kind of tight, and my benching just felt really strong. On every set here, you see the first rep, my first rep with this weight was going up so quickly. It felt easy, and I feel like I've got a really decent single in me at the moment. But obviously, like I said earlier, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to force myself to wait until the end of the 6-week cycle before I attempt anything of that order. Now, as a side note, if you look to the top left hand side of the screen while I'm doing this, there is an elderly gentleman who is doing some pretty textbook, I don't know, like bell ringing or like horn honking. Check that out, nice. So that was that PR for that session. Well pleased with that, and I finished, like I said, with some tricep based accessory work. I did some overhead extensions with a little bit of shoulder extension in there as well to fully activate my triceps. I felt pretty fatigued after these, to be fair. I did 3 sets of 10-ish reps on these. I'm still struggling when I do chin-ups and when I do overhead stuff. I think it's my right shoulder is just sits fractionally higher than my left one, and it puts me out of alignment. So I'm still trying to work to correct that because it's very frustrating. And I am quite OCD with these things, so if I'm not level, it winds me up. So I'm trying to correct that. You can't see it from that angle so much, to be fair. So I probably shouldn't have mentioned that because you wouldn't even have known. And then I finished the session and the week with some kind of skull crushers with a pathetically, embarrassingly light weight, but my triceps was slammed by this point, so I don't care. I did 3 sets of 12 down to about 8 or so of these, I believe. And that was my session, and that was my week. And like I said, I am pretty friggin' pleased with that. That's 2 PRs in a week, and it sets me up nicely for the remaining 5 weeks of this cycle as far as my bench press goes. Exciting times. So, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, as always, and I will see you tomorrow.